Okay, I think we're recording. So while I'm talking, everybody hit your mute button so that we don't get a lot of feedback. And then towards the end, we'll open it up for question. You can all unmute. Oh, by the way, I got a new phone. Conley, I put her in the swimming pool yesterday with her puddle jumper on, which she's never worn a puddle jumper, but I'm like, she's 2.5, so I thought she's good. So I sat her on the edge of the pool, like on the step, and I went to put our bags down, and when I turned around to come back, she's like in the middle of the pool, and she like can't get her feet, like her legs underneath her, and she's like drinking all this water. Her eyes are really big, and I had all of my golf clothes on, but I'm like, I can't just let her sit out there and be scared. So I go into the pool with all my clothes on and pull her to the edge, and whenever I was walking out, I felt down and I had my phone in my pocket. So that's why I had to get a new phone. But I have one now, and the battery works really well, and my case doesn't fall apart. So hooray for that. So I did put all my notes on my phone. So if you see me looking down at it, that's what I'm doing. So I think all of you know me, or we've met at least online, but if we have not, I'm Cassie. Terry, I'm a Ruby ambassador. I grew up with Brianna. We met probably in the 3rd grade. We played basketball against each other when we were young. Then we did gymnastics. All growing up, took lots of vacations together and went to high school together. And we've just been really, really, really good friends since we were little bitty. So Brianna joined my team about, I was probably about 5.5 or 6 months in. And she was pregnant with her first little boy. So she really took a leap of faith there, joining a company that we didn't really know a ton about while she was pregnant. And she shared the products before she could even take them. Her doctor didn't give full approval for all of that stuff with her first pregnancy. So she was sharing all of this stuff before she had a chance to try it for herself. But I'm so glad that she went ahead and jumped into that, because she's helped a lot of people get healthy over the last almost 3 years. So I'm going to really talk on this call about belief and action. There was a resounding theme mentioned about believing in yourself as a person, believing in yourself as an ambassador, believing in your business. And it's real funny because every time they would talk, I would look at Slade and say, we literally just read a book about this. Like, we just read a book about this. Every single speaker we had, Alec Clark, Carrie Wilkerson, Tarl, Victor, Les Brown, all of them, all spoke about how they had a turning point at some time in their life where belief in themselves made a huge difference. So I thought that was really cool, because we had just finished that book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, which is really all about personal belief, how to talk to yourself and feed yourself positive things. And then we went to convention. It was just like hammering the nail further in. It really backed up that we're on the right track with what we're doing in the book study. So I want you all to know that Brianna and I believe in every single one of you. And if we didn't, we wouldn't take time to do a call like this, because we know you guys want it. We know that you are capable of doing it. And we just want you to know that if you don't quite believe in yourself, borrow your belief from us, because we know you guys can do it. We've been where you're at. We know where you're headed, and we know that every single one of you can do it. So if you need a little help, or if you need to borrow some belief, you can borrow it from either one of us, because we believe in both of you. So how do I build belief? So ask yourselves these questions. What is holding me back? And write down a list of things that you think are holding you back. And then your homework assignment after this call is to talk to your sponsor or your upline and ask them what they think is holding you back. And then be willing to accept some constructive criticism and work on changing that constructive criticism. When we were at convention, that was one of the challenges that was issued to the ambassadors in the Ambassador to Silver group when we did our breakout sessions. And I've had 3 or 4 people actually come to me and do that exercise. And I feel like we busted through a lot of walls by doing that. Just kind of talking to them about, here's what I think is holding you back. Is there some kind of fear behind that? They talked through it and then realized that maybe their fear was a little bit on the irrational side, and they were like making it way bigger than what it really is. So I thought that was a really, really good exercise, and I think everybody should complete it. I did it. I asked Audrey also. So I've never asked you to do anything that I haven't already done. So I think that's a really, really good exercise to do. And then you guys can, and you and your sponsor can get together and kind of work on a plan, things to work on, how to kind of progress through that barrier that might be holding you back. Another thing I want you to write down is find out what scares you. What makes you nervous? What makes you kind of have a hesitation whenever you're sharing about Plexus, or you want to share about Plexus, but you don't? What is it that is in your head that you think, oh, I should have done that, but I didn't? Is it nervous talking in front of people, aren't sure that you're going to say the right things? There's all kinds of suggestions. But take some time to write that down. Ask yourself, why does this scare me? Why does this make me nervous? Why do I have a fear when it comes to this particular situation? And then dissect your feelings. Ask yourself, well, what is it about it that's scary? And is that a real fear, or is that a fear that I'm cooking up in my head? Is the response that I'm going to get a true response, or am I coming up with all of these things in my head that this person's not going to like it, they're going to say no because this, and this, or I can't talk to that group of friends because they're going to talk about me behind my back? Or what is it? I mean, and don't get me wrong, that can happen, but 99.9% of the time, it's not going to happen. But we'll sit there and we'll cook up all these crazy scenarios in our head, and then when it comes to the situation, we stop, not because of something that's happened to us, but something that we think could possibly happen if the stars align and everybody jumps on their left foot and turns a circle, and all of this crazy stuff in our head. So write down all of those things, and then when you have your conversation with your sponsor, you guys can kind of talk through that and maybe dig through some of those barriers. We can be our own biggest obstacle or our own biggest asset. We have to decide what we choose to be. And if you're sitting there feeding yourself a bunch of negative things, you're creating a bigger obstacle. If you're sitting there feeding yourself a bunch of positive things, then you're becoming an asset to yourself and to your team. So if you participated in our last book study, the book was called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. You guys, I feel like a broken record because I talk about this book all the time. It made that big of an impact. I wish I would have read this book 4 years ago when I first started Plexus, because it would have helped a ton. That year that I was pregnant with Conley, that things were going backwards. I mean, I can't tell you the kind of negative talk that I was doing to myself that year. If I had already read that book, I don't think any of that would have happened. So the book is about reprogramming our brains to believe in ourselves and serve our daily lives. The current book that we're reading is this one. It's called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. It's this yellow one. And this book kind of reinforces some of the things that we have read, or we had read in the original book. So I feel like, and I didn't know, I hadn't even read any Cliff's Notes or anything on that book, but when we chose it and I started reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect book to read right after that other one. Great choice by the team. So it talks about the importance of positive talk, finding joy in our journey, and becoming the best version of our own self, breaking out of a rut. And I'm sure if you've been in this business long enough, you've been in a rut. If you haven't been in this business long enough, you might get in a rut. So just really work on these positive things to keep yourself from going there. The way you talk to yourself and the way you think needs to serve you. If it's not serving you, then it needs to go. So stop right now and write down one positive thing about your personality, a positive affirmation to yourself about your personality. That's what the sticky notes are for. I'm going to do it too. Okay. Okay, you guys, the next thing is excuses. The excuses have to go. And a lot of this stuff is coming from what Carrie Wilkerson talked about at convention. The excuses have got to hit the road. Period. End of story. If you want to do this thing and you want to do it to your fullest ability, you must abandon your excuses. One person's excuse is another person's reason why. So I wrote down some examples. One person, the excuse person, is saying, well, I just don't have enough time. The productive person is saying, I'm developing better ways to use my time. And not just saying it, but following through with that. The excuse person would say, I'm just too busy. The productive person would say, I'm working on a way to be less busy and more productive. Because we all know we can be busy without getting anything done. So figuring out a way to be less busy, but more productive. The excuse person would say, but I'm not a salesperson. The productive person would say, I have a true gift that people need, and it's my duty as a friend or family member to share it with them. The excuse person would say, well, so-and-so's gonna, sorry, my phone scrolled. So-and-so's gonna talk about me behind my back. The productive person is gonna say, I'm not a middle schooler that needs validation from other people. I'm an adult, I'm loved, I'm confident, and I have true friends. Excuses, this is a direct quote from Carrie Wilkerson. Excuses are lies that you tell yourself that only you believe. I'm going to say it again. Excuses are lies that you tell yourself that only you believe. When she said that at convention, I was like, oh, sister's taking us to church. Giving us some nitty gritty. So it's time to cut the bull and get to work. Stop letting the voice in your head talk you out of being successful. Tell the voice in your head to shut up. Replace those words with something positive about yourself and get to work. So stop right now and write down one positive affirmation about your business. Okay, so now that we know that our belief is important, we have to talk about our action. This is another direct quote from Carrie. I think I've heard it said by several other people, but you have to pray like it depends on God, and you have to work like it depends on you. You can't do one without the other. You can't work all by yourself without putting your faith in God that He's going to make it happen, and you can't just pray for it, wish for it, and then sit stagnant and not do any work. Yeah, the two go hand in hand. Pray like it depends on God. Work like it depends on you. Be engaged. Participate actively in contests and training opportunities that we offer on my page, Audrey's page, Brianna's page. The speed of the team is directly correlated to the speed of the leader, meaning the team will always do a little bit less than what they see their leader doing. So if the leader's making excuses and not actively participating in the group pages and the contests, if the team doesn't see their leader's name in there, then they don't feel the need to put their name in there, or they don't feel the need to do the work or enter the contest. Do you see where I'm going with this? So the team, you cannot expect your team to grow and to be productive and active if they don't see their leader doing it. So you got to get out there in the trenches and bust your buns alongside them. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to see things move a lot more quickly because they see you doing it too. And I have done that. I have, in my personal experience, I have kind of ridden the roller coaster per se. Like, I did a lot of work at the beginning and I thought, oh, things are going great. They know what they're doing. I don't need to work quite as hard. Well, me not working quite as hard lowered their work threshold, and then lowered mine, and then lowered theirs. So then our work threshold was pretty much nothing. So you have to put in the work. You have to be willing to get down and get dirty and do the hard things that you're asking your team to do. And when they see you doing it, then they'll be more encouraged to do it themselves. There are 720 hours in 1 month. And we ask typically in a month that you commit about 6 to 8 hours to team calls, book study, guest speaker calls. We don't do a ton of that because we know it's hard with little kids going to bed and weeknight activities, but 6 to 8 hours out of 720 hours in the month, we feel like that's a reasonable thing to ask. So we really, really encourage everybody to get involved with the book study, get in on every call, make it a non-negotiable. And I know, there are things that are pre-scheduled that you can't get out of. I get that. That happens with everything. But if it comes down to, well, I just didn't get to it, that's you're making it negotiable, and you need to think of your business as non-negotiable. Like it's a work meeting that you have to be at, a mandatory work meeting. I have a mandatory work meeting next week for my day job, and I don't miss those because they're mandatory. So I treat my Plexus events and my Plexus training calls just like I would treat a mandatory work meeting working for somebody else. So you kind of have to treat it like you are working for somebody else, even though you're working for yourself. Be the boss of you. You have to treat your business like a business, and you'll get paid like it's a business. These things have to be non-negotiable. Your business deserves it, and you deserve the financial freedom that will come from doing that. If you treat your business like a hobby, it's going to pay like a hobby. How many of you have hobbies that give you a paycheck? I mean, my hobby is scrolling Pinterest, and that has never given me a paycheck, unfortunately. So really, really think about, okay, is what I'm doing, is it serving me? And am I treating this like a business or treating it like a hobby? And you will definitely see, if you're treating it like a business, you'll get the reward from it being a business. Stop now and write down a positive affirmation about your commitment to your business. Okay, so we know we need some belief and we know we need some action. So what kind of action are we talking about? So we need to recruit new ambassadors. We need to train them. We need to make it simple. And then we need to turn around and do all of that again. It's very basic. This is not anything that you guys have never heard before, but sometimes we get a little too focused on the big picture instead of what we need to do next. What's the next step? Get one more ambassador. What's the next step? Get one more ambassador. Turn around and train them. Show them how to do what I'm doing. And then if they see you continuing to recruit another ambassador, then they're going to just kind of follow your lead. They're going to step in and do what you do. They'll probably ask some questions, but if you're doing it, it's going to be easy to answer those questions, not only with your words, but with your actions. This is a little sidebar. If you're not converting your happy customers over to ambassadors, you are cutting yourself short of 75% of the compensation plan benefits. We have 11 ways to earn money with our compensation plan. 8 of those are through team building. Only 3 of them are through commission, like earning a commission off of how much you sell. So yes, it's good to have customers, but it's also really, really, really important to convert those happy customers into ambassadors, and to convert them into ambassadors with their convenience order on. Nobody on your team should know that it's an option to sign up as an ambassador without a convenience order. If they don't want to do a convenience order, then they are not ambassador material. Period. End of story. Sheila Medina, she did the Ruby training at convention, and her wording is fantastic. Let me find it. Because you're not being harsh, you're not being hateful if you use the way that she worded it. Let's see. I should have had this pulled up. Oh, if somebody says, well, I want to get my cheapest, I want to get my products at the cheapest, for the cheapest price, you say, well, let me see if you qualify for that. What product were you interested in ordering? And if it's less than 100 PV, then say, I'm sorry, it's not above the threshold for getting the wholesale price. If you added another product in that and you committed to taking those products for at least 3 months, then you would qualify to sign up as an ambassador. You guys, there's nothing wrong with signing someone up as a preferred customer first, and then if they love them, converting them to an ambassador. I would much rather that happen than have the points for a month and then no points, and then the points for a month and then no points. That is the most frustrating thing ever. I mean, we've added 100 people on our team in the last year, and my points have gone maybe up or down 10 points because of that exact scenario, because we're not putting people in the right place as far as retail, preferred, or wholesale. So just make sure that they are committed to having a convenience order on for 3 full months before you let them sign up as an ambassador. Usually if they take their products consistently for 3 full months, they love them, and then they will continue to do that, and that will be a consistent, solid ambassador on your team. So that's just a recommendation for signing people up. But you guys, if you've had customers for 6 months or more and you've never had the conversation with them about being an ambassador, that conversation needs to happen yesterday. Those are the people you want on your team because they're consistent and they obviously love the stuff. And chances are they're telling somebody about it. They've stopped taking medications. They stopped having headaches. They've stopped having GI upset. You can't not tell people about that kind of stuff. So if you have people like that on your team that you're just having them chill as a preferred customer, convert those people over as an ambassador. Will your PV go down? Yes. But let me tell you a secret. Jen Hawkins, Diamond, Sapphire, Jen Hawkins, Mother Diamond is what a lot of people call her. Her PV runs about 800 as a Diamond Sapphire because she knows that the people that love the products and that are going to talk about the products need to be converted to ambassadors. So her PV is going to go down, and then she goes out and finds more customers to bring that PV back up. But her PV is rarely over 1,000. And that's not what you would anticipate from somebody that's a Diamond Sapphire, but it's because she's utilizing the compensation plan to 100% of the benefit. She's building a team, and the people that aren't going to order over 100 PV or that aren't willing to commit to 3 months with their convenience order on, she puts them over here as a preferred customer or a retail customer until they get going on their products, and then once they decide they love them, then she moves them over. Because there's nothing wrong with that. They don't have to land where they're going to stay. That's why we have those upgrade options. So just make sure that you are utilizing the compensation plan to its full benefit. The launch of our new product is prime opportunity to follow up with anybody that's ever told you no. Anybody that's ever told you no. Even if they've told you no 400 times. They don't know about Acromancia. They don't know about the flavor of the new Slim. They don't know about Vital Biome, and they don't know about X Factor Plus. You guys, those 3 new products are huge. And if you don't go back and tell those people, somebody's going to, and then they're going to be on the product and you're going to be like, I talked to you a long time ago. You told me no. You have to follow up with those people. That is crucial. And it needs to happen between now and August while things are still fresh in their minds, still fresh on our minds. It's exciting stuff, and there's a lot of momentum happening. So If you haven't updated your list, go back and update your list. Divide the people on your list into categories. I don't know if you saw the post I made on my team page it's probably about a week ago, but people that have GI issues, that you know that they have IBS or constipation or heartburn, all the GI things, put those people on GI list. And then make sure that you get onto their page at some point in the next couple of days. And then after you don't have to say anything about Plexus, but, comment, like, make sure that Facebook knows you're interacting with these people. And then post 3 or 4 days worth of Plexus posts about GI stuff, GI testimonies, GI function. How does the Vital Biome help your GI function? Hammer it hard, because you've told the Facebook algorithm that you're interacting with these people. So Facebook's going to make sure these people see these next few days of posts. And then if you're posting about GI issues, then they're going to see that. And that might open the door to them saying, hey, I saw you got some new products. Tell me about that. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? So do that for migraines. Do that for anxiety. Do that for weight loss. Who saw Heidi Spears' testimony? I think I posted that on my team page too. You guys, her medical situation right now is awful, awful. Like, we're talking like she's going to have an ostomy placed. Bad stuff. Bad stuff has gone on since she had her baby. But she made a commitment to do the 60-day trim up. She has somebody meal prepping for her, which I know not everybody has that option, but she has somebody meal prepping for her. She can't do a lot of really rigorous activity because of her injury. You guys, she looks incredible, incredible. And a lot of that weight loss has come since she started the new Slims. So anybody that's ever told you no, or I don't think so, or that doesn't sound like something I need, or it didn't work for me, talk to those people, and you can be straightforward with them. Say, hey, listen, I know you didn't like it before, but it's completely changed, and it's completely changed for the better. So would you be interested in hearing some more information about our new stuff? If they say no, who cares? Move on. They're going to be sorry they said no. The clinical studies are a huge deal, you guys. Like, the nurse practitioners that just joined our team are like, that is a big deal, especially to people in the medical community who are all about the studies, the scientific studies, the research behind it. How can we back this up? How can we back up these claims? So clinical studies are a big deal, so make sure you're mentioning that. Sorry. Time out. So we talked about belief. We've talked about action. Here are a couple of ways that you can get plugged in. Our June Launch to Leaders Retreat calendar is in full swing. We're in week 2. So make sure that you're doing the posts. You guys, you don't have to do the posts the same day that we post them. Like, I post them on the team page. You can hold on to it until the next day, or do it a couple days later, or you can add a graphic to it and change the wording a little bit. You don't have to do it verbatim. These are just ideas for people who aren't sure what to post. Okay? So if you're like, well, I share friends with this person, they're going to see the exact same thing all day long, then change it up a little bit. There are no rules against changing things up. So these are just to be helpful, to give you ideas of what to post, and to have the follow-up conversation. Like, if you look in the comments under those posts on my team page, there's like 6 follow-up conversations. So if somebody asks you, hey, tell me more about this, then you have a script to use to go off of to make it easier for you to talk to them about it, okay? So make sure you're utilizing that, and that your team members are utilizing that to its full function. Told you about revisiting your list. It's not too late to join the book study. This book costs about, I don't know, $7 or $8 on Amazon. We've only done 1 week of discussion. It's a super fast read. You could catch up in no time. Like, we drove to Shamrock last Saturday to pick up our girls, and I read 10 chapters. So it's a super fast read. You're not behind. Just go ahead and get it ordered and get plugged in. Wednesday nights at 9. Even if you can't join the discussion, the Zoom discussion, read the book That's the most important thing. And then you can just have a little chat once a week with your sponsor. What was your favorite part of the book? That kind of thing. Okay. Does that make sense? You have 4 more days to complete the Silver Rank Up Roadmap to be entered to win a little convention gift basket thing. There's a post on my team page about that. So just, I don't know, there's all the instructions are in the post. I think you have to screenshot something and then tell what your color personality is based off of the Rank Up Roadmap stuff. So make sure you get that done. Get yourself entered into that, and I'll do the drawing for that at the end of the week. Actually, I think I said on the 15th. And then we're doing the weekly contest for the $50 cash prize. Each time you get a new customer or, and let's see, a new customer with 50 PV or more, or a new ambassador with a welcome pack, screenshot that when you get your email, and then post the screenshot into the contest post within the comments, and the person with the most screenshots gets $50 cash. Leslie Cook won this week. And that's part of the June Launch to Leaders Retreat. So that whole contest, the purpose of that is to get you points towards Leaders Retreat. It's 745 points to get there. And that's a combination of new customers, new ambassadors, and what your PV is. So you guys, there are silver ambassadors at Leaders Retreat every year. Every year. I've met one every year that I've been there. So don't count yourself out because you're a silver ambassador. Trust me, you can do it. And chances are, if you get there as a silver ambassador, you're going to be almost gold. Okay, and that's what we want, right? We want to get silver, we want to get to gold. So work really hard with that contest, you guys. I think we're going to have a good turnout with people on our team at Leaders Retreat. At least I'm hoping so. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to Orlando. Brianna has a June contest going on. Brianna, you can tell details of that in a minute. So that's really all I have. Belief and action, you guys. And it's not anything new, but I want you to know that we think you can do it. We have belief in you. That's why we do calls like this. That's why we run contests. That's why we're doing book study, because we know that you guys can do this. We're willing to pour into you because we know you can do it. So put a little belief in yourself. Do some positive affirmations. If you haven't read What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, or you need a little refresher on your notes, go back and read that. And then get this book and join our book study on Wednesday nights. You guys, it's so fun. You don't have to look fancy. I came with wet hair last week. It's fine. Nobody looks fancy during our book study. It's more just really relaxed, wine drinking, just laid back, and we chat about the book. So get plugged into that. That's made a really big difference for a lot of people over the last couple of months. So get plugged into that. All right, I'm going to mute myself, Brianna, and unmute you.
Okay. I'll go over the contest that I have going on for June. So the first part of it is, if any of you add 3 ambassadors with a welcome pack and have the 100 PV convenience order turned on, if you personally do that, add 3, you will earn $50. Now that's not a drawing. That's, if you do it, you're going to get $50. So it's just if you do the work, you're going to get that. And then the second part to it is, if as a team, a whole team, we add 10 ambassadors with those same, the welcome pack, 100 PV convenience order, so 10 as a team, then I'm going to do a drawing for $100. So 10 is, we've done 1, so actually we just need 9 now, and that's very doable. It's very doable. So somebody's going to get $100 if we do that. So the other thing I just wanted to talk about is, and I touched on it with Cassie's convention recap call the other night, is just our daily method and an IPA, what we do every day. I know it's very easy to have the best of intentions and think, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this today. But A lot of times you have those intentions, and then the day you get busy, things happen, and then before you know it, it's close to bedtime and you haven't done anything. So my challenge to you is to make those, like Cassie was talking about meetings, make it a priority, write it down, make sure it's like a business meeting for you. And the best way I can say to do it, and it's what works for me, is to use a planner. Now, every night before I go to bed, I write down exactly what I'm going to do for the next day. I write down the posts I'm going to make on Facebook, any kind of trainings I'm wanting to do, watch, like videos or anything like that. If I need to read it in my book, everything I'm going to do, I write it down. And for me, that's just a way that I keep myself accountable. I'm a checklist person, and if I've written it down, I am 10 times more likely to actually do it. So that's just an example of something that could work for you. And so I just want to put that out there to maybe try to do something similar to that, to see if that would work for you, or, put it in your phone, like set alarms in your phone to make sure that you do something and have that little trigger, come in. But I mean, if we're not doing those daily actions, we're not going to add new ambassadors. We're not going to add new customers. We've got to be doing the daily things that are going to get that for us. So, and if you need help with that, just reach out to me and I can help. I mean, I can help you, try to look at your day and figure out, when and what can be accomplished. And guys, if you just start out even with just 10 minutes a day, that is something you can message quite a few people in 10 minutes, and we just need to look at, and I know everybody's day looks a little bit different, but we can sit down and we can look at that and figure out, what would be the best plan of action for you. So I just really wanted to touch on that because that's something that I really try to do a good job on, is sticking with my daily actions. And I can tell you, if I have days where I am not doing much, or if I have a week go by that I'm inactive a little bit, I can definitely tell. I can tell, one, in my mindset, but then also I'm not, seeing, things with my business. And so it's important that we have that mindset of, again, if you work it like a business, you're going to get paid like a business. So you've just got to make that decision that this is going to be a priority for you. So that's all I really had on that. If we want to go ahead and open it up for questions, we can do that if anybody has any specific questions for Cassie and I.
I do. I was there for like an hour for the call the other night. And Brianna, last week you had mentioned a list of your daily method, kind of like the ideal daily method. And you said you were going to expand on that a little bit. Can you just go through those steps of that daily method? I wrote down a few here that you just talked about. But what was that perfect daily to-do list that you mentioned?
Okay. So what they call the perfect Plexus day is total, if you add it all up, its total is 2.5 hours. And the goal is to do 2 perfect Plexus days a week. Now, obviously, the more you do, the better. But the first part of it is 10 minutes of positive affirmations. And then 30 minutes of productive social media.
Your posting and team page?
Productive social media can look like a couple of different things. It could be posting in your team page. It could be just doing your normal posts on Facebook. It can be adding new Facebook friends. It can be interacting in groups, building your relationships with other people. Anything that has to do with your networking or your business on Facebook, that is what I would call productive social media. 1 hour of 3-2-1, and that's going to be like your reach outs to people. That's going to be following up with people. That's going to be training a new ambassador or training ambassadors, period. So 1 hour of just all those different kinds of reach outs to people. And then 20 minutes of Team Connect. And that can be messaging team members. That could be posting in your team page, doing a live video in your team page just to chat and talk. Could be a Zoom, something like this. And then the last part of that was 30 minutes of self-development. So that's, either reading in a book, or that could be watching YouTube videos, watching training videos. I would consider that to be self-development as well.
And research and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, research. If you're, just researching on product, anything to build your knowledge or build yourself, personally, I would consider that.
I forgot a couple of things that I was going to mention to you guys. I've had several people request another boot camp. We haven't done one in about a year. And so I'm going to start working on revamping the boot camp. So it will be completely different than the one that we're accustomed to. So everybody will be able to participate. So that's on my agenda for this summer. And then also, I have some people that are interested in doing that customer or potential customer group page, where everybody on the team can post things in there, but you can put all of your customers in there so that they're continuously getting some tips and tricks and positive feedback through that. So I have some people that are still really wanting to do that. So I'm looking at getting that implemented sometime this summer. And then also now this is going to be tricky for anybody that lives outside of Oklahoma City, but doing a team powwow, and we can set up a Zoom where if you have some people on your team that live in your same area, they can come to your house and just be connected by Zoom. But sitting down for 3 or 4 hours on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and really like glass of wine in hand, comfy clothes on, computer or iPad or whatever, and your list, and really hammer the IPA really hard for 3 or 4 hours, and then be done. Like high five each other after you send a scary message to one of your chicken listers or something like that. We're going to call it a powwow or I don't know, something silly. But I've seen some people do that. They don't do it with a huge group every time, but they'll get 1 or 2 people and go to the coffee shop and work it really hard for an hour. So I thought we might bring some snacks and wine into the mix and make it a little bit longer and work it really hard. I think sometimes a lot of us get overwhelmed with our IPA because we don't feel organized. At least I know that is the case for me. And so even if part of that 3 or 4 hours is just kind of organizing your list and your people and where you need to go and what you need to do, and then even if that makes it easier to do your IPA over the next month or two, I just feel like sometimes it's you have a little more confidence when you're reaching out to those scary people, whenever you have people like you can do it sitting right beside you, instead of just rushing through your day and doing it and then freaking out on your own. So those are some things that are in the works. I don't have dates of implementation yet, but just know that those things are coming. And I will post about them whenever we're ready to launch them. If you haven't done Rank Up Roadmap yet, you guys, it's good. It's really good. That training in there is like hand-picked for people that are trying to go silver. So I really like what they're doing with that, and they will roll out the next rank soon. So like now everybody has the silver, so anybody that's already silver will soon be getting the gold Rank Up Roadmap. Anybody that's already gold, in the next month or so, will get the senior gold one. So they'll roll out each rank at a time for anybody that's eligible to receive that training. So, but that's good stuff, you guys. If you haven't done that yet, get in there and work through that. You won't be disappointed at all. So that's all I have for extra announcements. Sorry to butt in.
And also on that note alone, you guys, like when Cassie and I started, there was no training. There was nothing. I mean, we were basically just trying to figure out what to do, and then also figuring out what to tell our team members to do when they added somebody new. This is laying it all out for everybody. So anytime now that we're adding a new person, there is no excuse for not getting them trained, because the resources are there. And it's really incredible. Anybody else have any questions?
I just have a quick question. I've been kind of out of touch this week. So wait, today's Sunday. Yeah, this week. Has there been a regimen put out yet for the 2 new products, or is that something you worked on?
There has been a regimen developed by a holistic health coach. I haven't looked into it closely yet, so I haven't posted it on my team page yet. It's not the official regimen from Cindy Latham, so I'm a little not sure if I want to pass that along yet. So I'm going to look into it a little more closely and see if it kind of lines up with the information that the scientists gave at convention. I mean, it probably does, but I just haven't had a chance to really look at the step-by-step. I do know for sure that Vital Biome needs to be taken first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. That's the number one thing. So I personally take my BioCleanse with my Slim in the morning, so I have to wait 20 or 30 minutes after taking Vital Biome before I can take Slim, X Factor, and BioCleanse. If somebody takes thyroid medicine, they can't have their Slim until like 2 hours later, so that's not really a big deal having them wait, but they could go ahead and take Vital Biome at the same time they take their thyroid medicine, and then let that soak in. That's going to be my term. Let it soak, and then take their Slim and whatever else they do in the morning. And then I don't think X Factor has any weird rules. Brianna, did you hear anybody say anything about the X Factor?
The only thing that they were talking about really was to take it before you eat a meal, because that's going to help your body absorb the nutrients a lot better.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I had gathered from watching videos of people that had talked to the scientists, was just to make sure that you took the Vital Biome early in the morning before you took anything else. And then the X Factor Plus with a meal. So that
the other thing with the X Factor Plus, so they put 100% of the recommended daily value of those vitamins and minerals into these little green capsules. So like if you don't like green leafy vegetables, you don't have to eat them if you're taking X Factor Plus, because you're getting your full recommended daily value of 19 vitamins and 52 minerals. That's a lot. There is, because you're getting 100% of the daily value of riboflavin, your body might not utilize all of the riboflavin from the capsule, and riboflavin can turn your pee yellow. So if you've started taking X Factor Plus and you notice your pee is extra yellow, that's the riboflavin. So I would probably steer clear of any posts saying if your vitamin turns your pee green or neon, that means you're not absorbing anything, which is true for most over-the-counter vitamins. But the riboflavin in our X Factor Plus is going to turn their pee yellow because their body, if any excess, is going to come out. They're getting all that they need, all that their body requires, but the excess is going to come out as yellow pee. So I would just steer clear of making any posts about you're not absorbing your vitamin if you're not peeing clear, because that's not necessarily true anymore. We know the X Factor works, but just that one little one lovely little ingredient is going to make their pee turn yellow. Slade goes, I thought I was dehydrated and I just kept drinking water and it just kept coming out yellow. Riboflavin. Sorry about that. So, but we've been on it just over the weekend. We got our stuff on Friday, and I'm really liking it so far. I think it's some good tools in the tool belt for sure. I did also hear that Old Slim is still available, but only ambassadors can order it. I haven't verified that with anybody, but I did hear that was word on the street. So if you have a customer that really likes the old flavor better, it may be a situation where you have to order it for them and then sell it retail out of your pocket. Does that make sense? And then
I still have 2 bags of it left.
put that in your shake, and then at lunchtime,
Right.
your new one. That's what we had to do to get through ours.
Yeah.
What else was I going to tell you? I think the old X Factor is available, but maybe only available to order until the stock of the old stuff is gone. I don't know that they'll take it to manufacturing again.
I still have so I got in a bottle of it like 2 days before the new stuff came out. And of course I haven't opened it because I want to take the new stuff.
Right.
And what if I take one of the new ones and one of the old ones every day to get rid of them, you know?
I think Jennifer Pletz, she's on Jackie Power's team. I think that's what she's doing because hers was the same situation. She had just opened a new bottle of the old X Factors. So she ordered, I think she bought the new X Factor while we were at convention, and she's doing that, taking one of each in the morning until her old one is gone, which that works too. Whatever you want to do. All right. Does anybody else have any more questions? I know there's a lot of new information. It's exciting information because the buzz on the street is all about Plexus. So that's good. I highly caution you, don't get overwhelmed because you're going to be answering a higher volume of questions because we have 3 new products to talk about. Just remember all those days that you were sitting around twiddling your thumbs wishing that people were asking you questions or interested in your products. We would much rather be busy answering questions about people interested in our products than not having people interested. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed. This is the enjoy where you're at kind of thing. Enjoy this momentum and utilize it to its full potential for sure. Because, summer's coming, and you guys, the whole summer is slower. That's kind of a myth because there are plenty of people that promote during the summer. It just is a matter of making sure you do that daily, the perfect Plexus day like Brianna talked about, and make sure you do it every day. Don't let yourself slip just because it's summertime, because I think that's what a lot of people do, and that's where you hear about the summer slump, and that's definitely not happening this summer because of these new products. So all right, well, we will let you guys go to bed. I know I gotta go to bed, get up for work tomorrow. So thanks for hopping on.
Okay, a little announcement. Suzanne is having an event on Thursday, so send her good thoughts. It's going to be in Moore, so if anyone's interested, you can come. And speaking of answering questions, she does get like a little nervous, because she's a little rusty on that. So send her good thoughts and confidence for Thursday. I will be there.
Awesome. It's in Moore, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in Moore. And it's like a LuLaRoe lip sense party, and someone asked her to join. So it's like LuLaRoe and lip sense and Plexus. So we'll send her good vibes for a good turnout.
Awesome. I love it. Good for her.
Yeah.
I like that she does things out of the box.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. All right. Yes. We will try to send her some good vibes and see if we can get some people there to help support her.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, ladies.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.